You're inching forward in the TSA line, balancing your ID and boarding pass, when an officer suddenly signals for your bag to be pulled aside. No explanation, no warning, just that heavy pause where the line moves. And you don't. Most travelers still have no clue that TSA has tightened medication screening more aggressively than ever. And the surprising part, it's not stricter security, it's confusion. Pills versus liquids, prescription versus over-the-counter, US rules versus international rules. One wrong assumption and suddenly your normal medication becomes a reason you're stuck in secondary screening. And here's the twist. You can follow every rule perfectly and still get flagged. Why? Because the rules are national, but the machines are not. Houston might wave you through with a full bottle of liquid medication. Honolulu might test that same bottle. Amsterdam might pull you aside because their scanner is older or overly sensitive. If you carry eye drops, inhalers, pill organizers, liquid prescriptions, anything at all, this guide can save you from losing medicine, missing your flight, or being pulled out of line for something you never expected. Number 1, the hidden trap. Pills are easy until they aren't. Most travelers assume pills are the simplest part of flying with medication. Throw them in an organizer, drop them in your carry-on, and done. And technically, yes, TSA allows pills in any form. Loose, bottled, weekly organizers, flip tabs, even tiny zip pouches. No original bottle required, no printed label, no prescription sticker, at least not for TSA inside the US. But here's the part almost nobody thinks about until it's too late. The real risk isn't TSA, it's your airline. Because millions of carry-on bags don't make it into overhead bins anymore, especially on full flights. When your bag gets gate checked in the final seconds, something that happens every single day, your medication instantly becomes checked luggage and completely out of your control. If that bag gets delayed, rerouted, or lost, your medication disappears with it. That's why experienced travelers never keep medicine in their carry-on suitcase. They keep it in their personal item. The one bag guaranteed to stay under the seat. The one bag that never leaves your sight. But pills are the easy chapter. Liquids are where everything starts to fall apart. The moment you carry something like liquid nutrition, prescription syrup, contact solution, Pepto-Bismol, or any medically necessary liquid, you enter a completely different rule book. A rule book where you're exempt from the 3.4 ounce limit, yet still vulnerable to random checks, inconsistent screening, and unexpected delays. And this inconsistency, this unpredictability, is exactly what pushed TSA to tighten medication inspections from 2025 into 2026. Number 2, liquid medication, the rule everyone thinks they understand. Here's where things get messy. Liquid medication feels simple. It's medically necessary, so TSA will just let it through, right? Not exactly. Yes, you're exempt from the 3.4 ounce rule. Yes, your bottles can be larger. Yes, your inhalers, breast milk, nutrition drinks, contact solution, gel meds, everything can legally travel with you. But an exemption doesn't mean a free pass, it means extra attention. The moment you carry liquid medication, TSA expects one thing before anything else: declare it. Not after your bag goes through the belt, not when an officer notices it on the screen. You tell them early, right when you show your ID. I have liquid medication. Sometimes they'll wave you through without even touching the bottle. That's exactly what happened in Houston when a traveler carried cholesterol medication in a soft cooler with an ice pack. But in other airports, completely different story. Some officers will make you pull everything out, lay your liquids in a gray bin, and wait while they screen it separately. And this is where inconsistency becomes a real problem. Maybe your ice pack is half melted. Maybe your bottle is too opaque. Maybe the scanner is older or oversensitive. Anything unusual, and you're pulled aside. Your entire timeline suddenly depends on how quickly a single TSA officer can open your bottle, test the contents, swab the lid, or rerun the item through the machine. It's not wrong. It's not unfair. It's simply unpredictable. This is why smart travelers arrive more than 2 hours early, not for boarding, but for these exact moments. Number 3, the original bottle myth. Why this rule confuses millions. Now let's talk about one of the biggest sources of panic at airport security. Do I need to keep my pills in the original prescription bottle? Travelers ask this more than almost anything else. And the confusion comes directly from the rule itself. TSA says original bottles are recommended but not required. Sounds simple, but the moment you look deeper, things get complicated. Inside the United States, TSA won't stop you for using a weekly organizer or tiny pill pouches. They understand that Americans take a lot of medication, sometimes multiple prescriptions a day, and carrying 8 or 10 plastic bottles simply isn't realistic for travel. So TSA relaxes the rule. But here's the twist most travelers never hear. Some U.S. states did not relax it. A handful of states still require controlled substances to remain in the original pharmacy bottle with the proper label, which means TSA may wave you through, but a police officer in that state absolutely might not, and that is why TSA phrases the rules so carefully. Allowed? Yes. Smart? Not always. Then, international travel makes everything even messier. Many countries, especially across Asia, expect the original bottle, the printed label, and the prescription slip even for medications you've used for years, not because they're suspicious of you, but because some ingredients that are perfectly legal in the US are restricted or outright illegal overseas. And the only proof standing between you and major problems at customs is the tiny label most travelers throw away. This is where preparation stops being optional. It becomes your only shield. Number 5, the liquid exception travelers misuse and TSA is cracking down on. Here's a detail almost everyone gets wrong, and it's one TSA is enforcing harder than almost anything else right now. Medically necessary liquids may be exempt from the 3.4 ounce rule, but hand sanitizer is not. That's right, and the same mini bottle clipped to backpacks, belt loops, purses, diaper bags is treated as a standard liquid. No medical loophole, no special category, no exceptions. The container must be 3.4 ounces. It must be packed inside your liquids bag, and it absolutely cannot be clipped to the outside of your backpack or purse. And yes, TSA officers are taking oversized bottles away, even from travelers who insist they always got through before. That was the old era, not anymore. Meanwhile, here's the irony. Items that look like liquids but technically aren't, travel wipes, disinfecting wipes, cleansing wipes, slide through security without counting toward your liquid limit at all. A tiny pack of wipes can replace an entire bottle of sanitizer and keeps you out of trouble now that TSA is enforcing the rule much more aggressively. Then you have the tiny pill bags travelers love because they save space. They're light, they hold a few days worth of medication, and they avoid the bulk of a hard shell pill organizer. TSA has no issue with them whatsoever. But that freedom only works if you remember one thing. Liquids are the landmine, not pills, and TSA is done being flexible about what qualifies as a liquid. Number 6, international medication rules, the trap even experts miss. Now we move into the part of travel that catches even seasoned flyers off guard to international medication laws. Most people assume that if a prescription is legal in the United States, it must be legal everywhere. But the moment you cross a border, the rules shift fast. Some countries treat common U.S. medications the same way the U.S. treats controlled substances. In parts of Asia and Mexico, original bottles with printed labels aren't just suggested, they are required. Customs officers in airports like Tokyo or Mexico City don't want your weekly organizer or your Ziploc bag. They want the original bottle, the dosage, the pharmacy's information, and proof that the medication was properly prescribed, not because they suspect criminal activity, but because ingredients Americans take casually, like pseudoephedrine, are illegal in those regions. Even certain inhalers that contain stimulants can trigger questions, and medications like Adderall are banned outright in multiple destinations. That's why experienced travelers always pack 3 to 5 extra days of medication. Flights get delayed, bags get rerouted, plans fall apart. If you run out overseas, you may not be able to replace what you need, no matter how critical it is. And then comes the part nobody prepares for: documentation. A printed list of your medications and their generic names, dosages, your doctor's details, your pharmacy's details, plus a digital backup saved in your phone or email. It feels excessive until a customs officer asks a question you can't answer. Because once you leave the U.S., medication isn't just medicine, it's paperwork. Number 7, when the same airport treats you differently on 2 different days, here's the moment that proves just how unpredictable medication screening really is. A traveler passed through Amsterdam with nothing more than a basic prescription shampoo. No unusual ingredients, no oversized bottle, nothing that should raise an eyebrow. But what happened next exposed a truth most passengers never hear. The same airport can treat the same item completely differently, depending on the day. On day 1, security told her to leave the shampoo inside her backpack, liquids bag and all. She followed instructions exactly. The scanner didn't like it. The alarm went off, and suddenly she was standing in a slow-moving secondary screening line as the 8th person waiting. No explanation, no guidance, just that cold moment where everything stops and the clock keeps ticking. The very next day, same airport, same traveler, same bottle, and totally different directions. This time the officer insisted she remove the shampoo, place it in a gray bin by itself, with no purse, no backpack, nothing touching it. It still triggered a question, but the process was smoother. The officer simply asked what it was for. "Dry scalp," she said. He nodded and she was cleared. This is the part travelers hate admitting. You can do everything right. Same medicine, same packing, same rules, and still get 2 completely different outcomes based on the officer, the line, or the machine. It's not personal, it's not logical. It's inconsistent, and that inconsistency is the most consistent part of airport security. Number 8, the packing trick that makes TSA screening faster and less stressful. After dealing with this level of inconsistency, most travelers eventually ask the same question: is there any way to make security easier? Surprisingly, yes, but not in the way people expect. One traveler learned this after switching to a tote bag designed with small built-in storage compartments. Not for style, but for survival. The bag came with 2 compact pouches originally meant for toiletries. They instantly became the perfect home for medication, easy to lift out, easy to declare, easy for TSA to scan without digging through layers of chargers, makeup, clothing, and snacks. The secret isn't the brand, it's visibility. TSA officers do not like mystery items buried inside a pile of belongings, but medication placed neatly inside a structured, clear pouch. That signals clarity, honesty, and zero confusion. Another traveler used a structured cosmetic case with upright bottle slots, zippered compartments, a flat front panel for medical equipment. It opened like a book, allowing TSA to see everything at a glance. No rummaging, no repacking, no delays. This is the part no one tells you. Good packing isn't aesthetic, it's strategy. The more visible your medication is, the less suspicious it appears, and the faster you get to your gate. Number 9. TSA cares, medical devices, and the one sentence you must always say first. If you think medication screening is inconsistent, medical devices take unpredictability to another level. CPAP machines, insulin pumps, continuous glucose monitors, metal implants, surgical hardware. TSA officers see these items every single day, but that doesn't mean the process is smooth unless you take charge. The smartest travelers use one simple sentence before the officer can even speak. I'm traveling with a medical device. Do you need to see it, or would you prefer to wand me? That calm, proactive line changes everything. It prepares the officer, lowers suspicion, and signals that you understand the process instead of resisting it. You'd be shocked how many passengers stay silent, hoping nothing happens, only to get pulled aside anyway. And then there's TSA Cares, a program almost nobody knows exists. It's designed for travelers who need extra time, privacy, mobility assistance, support with anxiety, PTSD, autism, or medical limitations. A dedicated TSA officer meets you, walks you through the screening, answers questions, and shields you from the stress of the regular line. But there's one catch: you must arrange it at least 5 days before your flight. The truth is simple. TSA won't always give you a smooth experience, but preparation will. When you speak up early, when you know the rules, when your items aren't surprises, the entire energy of the screening shifts. You can't control the officer, but you can control what they expect. Number 10. The only safe way to travel with large quantities of medication. If you only travel with a few pills, security is annoying but manageable. But the moment you carry a lot of medication, long trips, chronic conditions, multiple daily doses, the real problem stops being TSA. It's space. Bottles take room. Weekly organizers are bulky, and no one wants to drag around a mini pharmacy inside their backpack. That's why some doctors and pharmacists quietly offer something most travelers have never even heard of: a prescription-backed flat pack. Instead of handing you another rattling plastic bottle, your doctor can seal your pills in a thin strip pack, 10 pills, 20 pills, whatever your trip requires. They're slim, flexible, and designed for travel. But the real upgrade appears when you scale it up. Some experienced travelers use full month-long medication sheets with deep thumb-sized compartments labeled by date. You load October 1st, October 2nd, all the way through the month. Then you peel off the protective layer and reveal the metal foil backing that seals the entire sheet flat. Suddenly, a month's worth of pills becomes a single smooth panel that slides vertically into your bag. No rattling bottles, no bulky organizers, no suspicious clumps on the X-ray. And here's the twist most travelers never expect. TSA actually prefers this system. It's organized, it's visible, it's easy to screen, and it avoids the biggest misunderstandings caused by loose, unmarked pills. When your health relies on strict consistency, your packing has to match that consistency. Flat pack medication is the closest thing to travel proof that exists. After everything you've witnessed and the exceptions, the contradictions, the different machines, the shifting rules, one truth becomes impossible to ignore: TSA is inconsistent, and they're not pretending otherwise. One day your cooler glides through untouched. The next day, the same cooler triggers an alarm. One airport waves you through with medication that's obviously oversized. Another airport stops you, tests the lid, reruns the bag, and questions an item you've carried for years. Travelers keep trying to make sense of the inconsistency, but here's the reality. The inconsistency is the system. It's not personal, it's not malicious, so check TSA.gov. Know your meds. pack visibly, declare when needed, expect inconsistencies, and when you finally clear security, release the stress and enjoy your flight. You earn that moment. Don't let a checkpoint take it from you.